Well, welcome to MV Tutors. I'm your tutor, Figure Storm, and today we're doing organic chemistry with a focus though on hydrocarbons. So, this is just a summary of what you need to know about them. Now, these are alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. All right, let's start with the alkanes. Okay, so with the alkanes. Now, they have a general formula. Okay, this is a general formula of alkanes. It's given by CnH2n plus 2. Okay, you'll get to see how we can actually use this in a question later. But before we get there, let's just start with the functional group. Okay, I'll use a different color for functional group. I'll just say functional groups. Okay, so the functional group, as you can see here, is given just by single bonds. Okay, single bond means that's a single bond. Okay, that's it. Okay, now there's something I want to show you before I show you that. Single bond has a single carbon atom rather has 4 bonds. All the time it's going to have 4 of them. So even if you have 2 of them, each one must have 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's do 3 of them. 1, 2, 3 carbons. Each one of them must have 4. Okay, just like that. Let's do 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each one of them 4, like that. Okay, so you can see each one of them have 4. These are functional groups. Now, let's talk about structural formula. Okay, but yeah, let's talk about the structural formula, how this thing is written before we actually talk about the suffix and stuff. Functional formula, structural formula is just this, and you must complete it with the hydrogens. So it's a structure. So think of a building, how big a building is, and it has different layers. If you can just think of a high-rise building rather, okay? It's got a first floor, second floor, third floor, and all of those floors. So you need to detail each and every one of those floors, right? And make sure that everything is there up until the roof. Okay, so this is the structural formula. Okay, it has the C's and H's. And then let's talk about now the condensed structural formula. Okay, when we're speaking about the condensed structural formula. Now, the condensed structural formula actually comes from the structural formula. That's why it has the structural formula. How you do it, let's start with this one. Starting from the left, we have 1C and 3 H's. So it's going to be CH3. And then secondly, you have 1C and 2 H's. So H2. Thirdly, you have likewise 2 H's. Fourthly, you have 1C and how many H's? 3 of them. So that's the condensed. That's how you do the condensed C. This side we'll do it exactly the same. Count the number of H's. You've got 3, and then you've got 2, and then you've got 3 again. Okay, we'll just do these ones. Now, something else, let's talk about the naming of this now. How do we name these things? Now, if you have a single bond, okay, it's a met. Okay, comes from, you can think of it as me. It's just one of me, so that's meat. And then, I mean, not myth, myth. So that me, just think of it that way. And then this, if it's 2 bonds, then it's a eth. Okay, 3 bonds, it's a prop. 4 bonds, it's a but. It's just a naming. You can name it up to 10, 11, whatever. Okay, but now when we're talking about the suffix, how this is the suffix part. Okay, that's for an alkane, the suffix is ane. So you put meth, you put ane there to complete it. Methane. If you put ane there to make it ethane. Prop, you put ane there to make it propane. But, you put ane there to make it butane. Okay. Now we are done with the naming of it. But one last thing I want to talk about is what we call the molecular formula. Okay, so the molecular formula, it's either you get it from the formula or the structure as well. Let's start with the structure. For this one, for the propane, you write it C, and you count the number of C's. You have 1, 2, 3 C's. But H's, you count the number of H's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This side, you have count the number of C's. 1, 2, 3, 4. The number of H's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Got 10 H's. Okay. Alternatively, you can always use the general formula to say if I've got 3 C's. Okay, let me just do it that way. Let me put the formula down here. The formula is Cn H2n plus 2. So you can say if you've got 3 C's, if n represents 3, then here you've got 2 times 3 plus 2. So that gives you C3 H. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 2 is 8. It also works this side. You've got 4. And then H. You've got 2 times 4 plus 2. So that you've got C4 H. 2 times 4 gives you 8. Plus 2, that's 10. Okay, so you've got 2 ways of writing the molecular formula. Okay, let's now talk about the second hydrocarbon, which is alkenes. Okay, and it has a general formula of CnH2. 2N. Okay, we'll use it later. The functional group, though, let's use a different color. The functional group is the double bond. Okay, so that's the double bond. Let's see if there's 3 of them. That's how you write it. And then if it says 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's get to the naming of it. Okay, let's use a different color. So there's 2 of them here, so this is not a myth but an if. Okay, so this is an if. This one is 3 of them, it's a prop. This one, there's 4 of them, so it's a but. But because it must have its suffix it's in, so you just add the suffix to make it ethene, propene, okay, butene. That's it. Okay, now let's talk about the structural formula. The structural formula, just think of a structural formula as a building with a roof. So it needs to be complete with this roof. The roof is the hydrocarbons. Is the hydrogen, sorry. Each carbon must have 4 hydrogens. So this one has 1. It already has 2, so we just need to put 2 more. Okay, there. This one already has 2, so it needs 2 more. This one already has 2, so it needs 2 more. This one has 3, 1, 2, 3, so it just needs 1 more. Put it on top. This one has 1, so it needs 3 more. Okay. This one, it has 2, so it needs 2 more. Okay. This one has 3, 1, 2, 3, so it just needs 1 more. This one has 2, so it needs 2 more. This one has 1, so it needs 3 more. Okay, so be careful of these middle ones. Don't put a 5th one there. Okay, so now that we're done with those, we need to put the condensed structural formula. So you need to be careful what the question wants, whether it wants a structural or a condensed structural formula. You do them differently. So the condensed structural formula for this one, let's start from the first one on the left. You've got 1C, and how many H's? 2 H's. This one, it's got 1, and then put the double bond, and then you put the 1C, 1H. This one, the next one has 1C, how many H's? 2 H's. And then the last one has C, got 3 H's if you count there. Let's do the propene. Okay, so first of all, from the left, CH, how many H's? Got 2 of them, so put 2. Then we have a double bond, and then we've got 1C and 1H. And then we've got 1C and how many H's? 3 H's. That's your condensed formula. Okay, so now they want, the last one we should do is the molecular formula. Now, there's two ways of doing molecular formula. Either you use the structural formula if you have it, or you can use the general formula. Let's start with the structural for butene. You count the number of C's, 1, 2, 3, 4 C's. You got 4 of them. And then the number of H's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 H's. So H, 8. And then for propene, you count the number of C's, 1, 2, 3. So it's C3. The number of H's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 6 H's. Okay. Or otherwise, you can use the general formula. If you remember the general formula, it's Cn H2n. So that means if n is represented by 4, H will be 2 times 4. That's it. So you'll have C4 H8. This side, C, we've got 3 of them. H from the formula is 2 times 3. So finally, you'll have C3 H. 2 times 3 is 6. There we go. So you've got 2 ways to get the same answer. So the last one we're going to look at is alkynes. Okay, alkynes. Okay, the last hydrocarbon. It has a general formula. Okay, general formula is given by CnH2n minus 2. Okay, we'll use it. And then it has a functional group. The functional group is given by a triple bond. Okay, if you've got 2 of them there, and then let's say you've got 3 of them, this is how you do it. And then let's say you've got 4 of them. You still put your triple bond. Okay. Now let's get to the naming of it. So this one, it's 2 of them, so it's a eth. 3 of them, it's a prop. 4 of them, it's a but. Now the suffix you add at the end is YNE. Okay, so we'll just do that. YNE to get ethine. YNE to get propine. YNE to get butane. Okay. Now we need to complete the structural formula. So this is how you do it. Let's start with this one, these ones. So each carbon must have 4 hydrogen bonds. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bonds rather. So you just need to add 1 more, even this side. This side, for this one, you just need 1 more. This one is complete. This one needs 3 more. Okay. Like that. This one just needs 1 more. This one is complete. It's got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one needs 2 more. This one needs 3 more. Okay. Now I want us to do the condensed structural formula. Let's start with butane. From the left, you've got one C and one H. And then you have the triple bond. And then you've got just the C on its own next. And then you've got another C with two H's. And then the last one, the last C has three H's. Okay, let's do for propene. Propine, you've got one C and one H. From the left, you've got the triple bond, you've got the C. This C already has 4 bonds, so it doesn't have a hydrogen, but this last one has 3 hydrogens. Okay, and then let's get down to the last part, which is the molecular formula. Okay, this molecular formula. Molecular formula. There's 2 ways. Let's start with the way you do it based on the structural formula. So you count the number of C's, 1, 2, 3, 4 C's, butane. Then you count the number of H's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. H6. And then number of C for propine, you've got 3 of them, so it's C3. And the number of H's, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Alternatively, you can use the general formula, which is Cn H2n minus 2. Okay, so if n is represented by 4, then H is 2 times 4 minus 2. Okay, which will equal C4. H2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. Okay, likewise this side, it's C3. H2 times 3 minus 2. So that equals C3. H2 times 3 is 6, minus 2 is 4. And that completes our lesson tutorial today. And finally, I hope this was helpful to you. But please like and subscribe to our page. If you need further help, in our description below, there is a website. That's our website. You can book a session from there, or just comment asking for a session and we'll contact you back. Thank you very much.